Hello everyone. Let us start our next lesson, that is 100 verses part 2. And again this lesson is quite lengthy, so I'm going to divide the videos in two parts. I'll cover first part today and the second part will be covered next time. While the class was circling the room, the monitor from the principal's office brought Miss Mason a note. While the class was taking a round of the whole classroom, the students were taking a round to see the drawings of Wanda or everybody's else. They were taking the round in the class. Meanwhile, the monitor from principal's office brought a note for Miss Mason, their class teacher. Miss Mason read it several times. She read it many times and studied it thoughtfully for a while, and she carefully read the content of the note. Then she clapped her hands. Why did she clap her hands? She clapped her hands in order to draw the attention of the class. Attention class, everyone back to their seat. She ordered she ordered the boys and girls to come back to their seat. When the shuffling of feet had stopped and the room was still and quiet, Miss Mason said, "I have a letter from Wanda's father and I want to read to you." Then Miss Mason told the children that the shuffling of the feet, when the noise made by the movement of the boys and girls in the class stopped and the class was completely silent, then Miss Mason told them that she had got a letter from Wanda's father and she wanted to read to all of them. Miss Mason stood there a moment and the silence in the room grew tense and expectant. As Miss Mason was again looking into the letter or stood there seriously, again the whole class or the girls or the boys in the class were expecting that something serious is about to come. The teacher adjusted her glasses slowly and deliberately. The teacher adjusted her glasses, the spectacles, slowly and deliberately in order to show or in order to make a gesture that this matter is quite serious. Her manner indicated that what was coming. Her gesture of this showed that what was about to come. This letter from Wanda's father was a matter of great importance. She told that this letter of Wanda's father is of great importance. Everybody listened attentively as Miss Mason read the brief note, as she read the small note written by Wanda's father. "Dear teacher, my Wanda will not come to your school anymore. Father mentioned that his daughter will not come to school anymore. Jake also. Jake was Vanda's brother. Now we move away to big city. They have shifted to a big city. No more Holler Pollock. No one would call them Polish because these people had come from the Poland. So they had when people come from a different communities or society, they have a different types of name. So that is why the children, girls, boys in the school made fun of her strange name. So that is why she said, he mentioned in the letter, no more Holler Pollock. No one would call her Pollock or Polish. Polish means the person who come from Poland. No more ask why funny name. No, now in the big city, no one is going to ask her about her funny name. Plenty of funny names in the big city. He mentioned in the big city, no one cares about anyone. All are busy or all are busy in their own matter. Yours truly, Jen Petronaski. A deep silence met the reading of this letter. After reading, there was a complete silence in the room. Miss Mason took off her glasses. She removed her glasses, blew on them, and wiped them on her soft white handkerchief and cleaned her glasses with her soft handkerchief. Then she put them on again. Again, she put on her glasses and looked at the class. When she spoke, her voice was very low. She read the letter, and second time after reading the lesson, when she spoke, her voice was quite low. That means in serious tone. She wasn't serious, no. "I'm sure that none of the boys and girls in room number 13 would purposely and deliberately hurt anyone's feeling because his or her name happened to be a long, unfamiliar one. The teacher told the boys and girls that she was expecting, or she was sure, that none of the boys of the or the girls from this room, from her class, would purposely and deliberately hurt anyone's feeling because of his or her name, which was quite long and unfamiliar. I prefer to think that what was said in thoughtlessness. I would think if somebody has done so, she would have the feeling about that person that that person had not done this deliberately. This was done in thoughtlessness. Without giving a serious thought, the person did it. I know that all of you feel the way I do. Teacher said that the way I am thinking at present, I hope you all are also thinking that way. That this was very unfortunate thing to have happened. Whatever has happened, it was really unfortunate. Not only unfortunate, but it was sad at the same time. And I want all of you to think about it. The first period was a study period. Maddie tried to prepare her lessons, but she could not put her mind on work. She was not Maddie. It was the teaching period or study period. Maddie was not able to concentrate on her lessons. She was not able to put her mind into work. She had a very sick feeling in the bottom of her stomach. She was feeling something wrong. True, she had not enjoyed listening to Peggy ask Wanda how many dresses she had in her closet, but she had said nothing. It was true that she did not enjoy the moment when Peggy used to ask Wanda about her dresses. But it was also true at the same time that she was simply standing there. She did nothing. She had stood by silently. She was standing there quietly, and that was just as bad as what Peggy had done, worse. And she has the feeling that as she did nothing in this regard, so she is also equally a culprit as Peggy is, or even her conduct is worse than Peggy's. She was a coward. She was a courageless girl. She had no courage to tell her friend that she was wrong. At least Peggy had not considered they were being mean. Maddie, had thought. But Peggy had not considered, according to Maddie, at least she thought of that they were doing wrong. But Peggy did not had that feeling. Maggie at least had that feeling that they were doing something wrong. But Peggy did not even have that feeling. She could put herself in Wanda's shoes. She would have thought of the situation. If in place of Wanda she was there, then what would have happened? Goodness, wasn't there anything she could do? She asked God. Oh God, she was not able to do anything. If only she could tell Wanda that she had not meant to hurt her feelings. At least she would have the courage to tell Wanda that they did not, or she did not mean, she is not doing this deliberately to hurt her feeling. It was just a fun. But she did not had even that courage. She turned around and stole a glance at Peggy. As they were sitting in the classroom, she turned around and looked at Peggy. But Peggy did not look up. She was not looking. Peggy did not look up. She seemed to be studying hard. She was pretending to study. She too was pretending to study. Well, whether Peggy felt badly or not, Maddie had to do something. Now Maddie decided whether Peggy does anything or not, but she was about to do something. She had to find Wanda Petnowski. Maybe she had not yet moved away. Maybe Peggy would climb the heights with her. Heights means here means Bogan's Heights, the place where they lived. And they would tell Wanda she had won the contest. Then she thought of going to her place and telling her that she had won the contest, that they thought she was smart and the 100 dresses were beautiful. Now Maddie started thinking of ways and means how she could go to or how she could approach Wanda and tell her that she had won the contest. Just these things she was thinking in mind just to have a conversation and to admit that she has done wrong with her. When school was dismissed in the afternoon, Peggy said with pretended casualness, "Hey, let's go and see if the kid had left town or not." Peggy was also thinking the same thing only, but she was pretending that she has not felt anything. She was pretending to study, but at the same time, in her mind, 101 thoughts were also coming and going. So after the school, when the class, when in the afternoon, when the school got over, when the classes got over, she, in casualness, she told Maggie that they could go to Boggin's Height and see if Wanda has left the town or not. So Peggy had had the same idea. Maggie glowed. Maddie thought that Peggy was also thinking the same thing. Peg was really all right. Maddie thought that Peggy was perfectly all right. The two girls hurried out of the building up the street towards Boggin's Height. Both the girls quickly moved out of the school building and started moving towards the Boggin's Height. It was the place or the part of the town that wore such a forbidding air on this kind of November afternoon, drizzling, damp, and dismal. Bogan's Height was such a part of the town where in the month of November afternoon, there was a dampness in the weather, it drizzled, and there was a sadness all around. "Well, at least," said Peggy gruffly, "I never did call her a foreigner or make fun of her name." Now, Peggy said while they were going up, they were conversing with each other. Peggy said casually, "I never did call her a foreigner or make fun of her name." They both knew that they were the culprit, they were guilty. So just to make, somewhere in our heart, when we feel that we are wrong and but we do not want to admit it at the same time, or we do not want others to see us whether we are right or wrong, so we pretend that everything is normal, everything is all right, but we know in our heart somewhere that this is, we have done something wrong. The same feeling Peggy was having. She casually said that she never made fun of her name. I never thought that she had the sense to know we were making fun of her anyway. Peggy also admitted that she never thought that Wanda would understand that they were making fun of her. I thought she was too dumb. According to Peggy, she was dumbhead. Who was dumbhead? Wanda was dumbhead. And ye, look how she can draw and see. I was thinking that she was dumbhead, but actually the way she drew the pictures, the painting, it seemed like she really had a mind. Maddie could say nothing. She didn't say anything. All she hoped was that they would find Wanda. She wanted to tell her that they were sorry. They had picked on her, annoyed her. They made her annoyed, and how wonderful the whole school thought she was, and please not to move away, and everybody would be nice. She is going to tell Wanda not to go anywhere, and she is going to take care that everybody would be nice with her. She and Peggy would fight anybody who was not nice, and they were supposed to make a promise to Wanda that they will fight with everyone whosoever does not behave well with Wanda. The two girls hurried on. They kept on moving fast. They hoped to get the top of the hill before dark. I think that's where Petrovskis live, said Maddie, pointing to a little white house. When they reached the heights, they saw a small white house. So Maddie pointed towards that house and said, I thought Vanda lives there. Wisp of old grass stuck up here and there along the pathway like thin kittens. The twigs of the grass, or you can say tinke, the twigs of the grass were lying here and there in the pathway like thin kittens. The house and its sparse little yard looked shabby but clean. The house and the little narrow pathway to the house was shabby, was ugly, but it was clean. It reminded Maddie of Wanda's one dress, her faded blue cotton dress, shabby but clean. The situation of the house, the look of the house reminded Maddie of one of Wanda's dress, which she always wore to the school, the faded blue one, which was shabby, which was not good looking, not beautiful, but it was clean. There was not a sign of life about the house. They could not find even a single person in the house. Peggy knocked firmly on the door, but there was no answer. She and Maggie went around to the backyard and knocked there. Still, there was no answer. There was no doubt about it. Petnovskis were gone. Now, as nobody answered, nobody replied, and by seeing the condition of the house, they were sure that they have already moved. How could they ever make amends? Now Maddie started thinking, how are they going to admit their mistake in front of Wanda? How are they going to make the amendments in their relation with Wanda? They turned slowly and made their way back down the hill. Well, anyway, said Peggy, she's gone now. So, what can we do? Now, Peggy again said that she's gone. We cannot do anything in this matter now. Besides, when I was asking her about her dresses, she probably was getting good ideas for her drawing. Now, Peggy, in addition to that, she added something else. She said that it was like because of me only she won the medal. Why? Because of her? Because when she was asking about Wanda about her dresses, like how many dresses does she have, so that time Wanda must be getting the ideas of having different types of dresses or how to draw different types of, she was imagining the colors, or you can say the pattern of different types of dresses. She might not even have won the contest otherwise. If she wouldn't have asked her about her dresses, she wouldn't have won the Wanda would not have won the contest. Maddie turned this idea carefully over in her head, for it there was nothing in it she could not have to feel so badly. Maddie kept this idea in her mind carefully just to console herself, because deep in her heart she was feeling very bad about Wanda. But she kept this idea in her mind carefully so that she does not feel that bad as she was feeling at that particular moment. She thought about Wanda and her faded blue dress and the little house she lived in. And she thought of glowing picture those 100 dresses made, all lined up in the classroom. The very thought of Wanda and about her 100 paintings of 100 dresses was not moving out of Maddie's mind. She was she kept on thinking. She was all the time busy in thinking about her dresses, her pictures, and everything, all lined up in the classroom. At last, Maddie sat up in the bed and pressed her forehead tight in her hands and really thought. This was like describing when Maddie was after coming back from Boggin's house height, when she went to her house, and she at night she kept on thinking about Wanda, and then finally she made a decision. She got up, sat in her bed and made a decision. This was the hardest thinking she had ever done. After a long time, she reached an important conclusion. She was never going to stand by and say nothing again. She decided she would never stand by and say nothing again. She would not merely stand there at the place where people will make fun of others. She will not keep quiet there. If she had ever heard anybody picking on someone because they were funny looking or because they had strange names, she would speak up. She made a decision, or she decided that she will not keep her mouth shut, or she will not keep quiet when the people will make fun of other people because of their funny looking or because they had a strange name. She would speak up against those people. If it meant losing Peggy's friendship, even if she had to leave Peggy, then also she will speak up. She will not keep quiet. If she finds or if she sees anyone bullying the other person. She had no way of making things right with Wanda, but from now on, she would never make anybody else unhappy again. Now, whatever has happened, as Wanda has already moved, she does not have any like a chance to clear the things with Wanda, but at least now she would not do the same thing to anybody else. She took this decision that night. On Saturday, On Saturday, Maddie spent the afternoon with Peggy. Maddie spent the afternoon with Peggy. They were writing a letter to Wanda Patnosky. It was just a friendly letter telling about the contest and telling Wanda that she had won. They told her how pretty her drawings were. In the letter, they mentioned that she had drawn the paintings very beautifully. And they asked her if she liked where she was living and if she liked her new teacher. They had meant to say they were sorry. They were writing this note to Wanda just to mention their feelings, that they are feeling bad what they did to her, or to feel sorry. But this letter ended up casually. But it ended up with their just writing a friendly letter, the kind they would have written to any good friend. They signed it with lots of X for love. They mailed the letter to Boggins Height, writing, "Please forward" on envelope. Days passed and there was no answer, but the letter did not come back. So maybe Wanda had received it. Days passed by, but there was no answer. They did not get any reply. But the letter which they had posted, that also did not come back. So they were like somewhere in the mind, they were thinking that Wanda must have received the letter. Perhaps she was hurt and angry. She was not going to answer. But after getting the letter, still Wanda did not answer them. The reason, they were thinking in their own mind, the reason behind that was Wanda was angry or upset with them. Weeks went by and you could not blame her, and they cannot blame Wanda for not replying them. Weeks went by and still Wanda did not answer. Weeks passed on, but Wanda did not answer. Peggy had begun to forget the whole business. Peggy started to forget the whole thing, and Maddie put herself to sleep at night making speeches about Wanda. But Maddie was not able to come out of the situation. Every night when she goes to her bed, she prepares hundreds and hundreds of speeches how she are going to confess in front of Wanda and what are she going to tell her. Defending her from, now she started thinking of imagining the scene where she was defending her from a great crowd of girls who were trying to tease her. How many dresses have you got? The girls would have asked Wanda, how many dresses does she have? And before Wanda could press her lips together in tight line the way she did, before answering, Maddie would cry out. Maddie would jump into the matter and she would say, "Stop." Then everybody would feel ashamed the way she used to feel. This thing she was imagining her in her mind. Now it was Christmas time and there was snow on the ground. The Christmas bells and a small tree decorated the classroom. On the last day of the school before the holidays, the teacher showed the class a letter she received that morning. The teacher again showed them a letter which she had received that morning. Children, let us finish this today. Let us finish it here only. So next time we'll do the remaining part of this. Thank you, children.